Welcome to my period stories with me, Funke Treasure. This is a video podcast where we talk about periods, menstrual health, menstrual hygiene, and everything related to periods from all over the world. We have an array of amazing guests from all over the world who have such fascinating stories we can't keep to ourselves. Are you ready? Please take a seat. We'll be right back. You're watching my period stories, where we prioritize telling stories, period stories for that matter, because we want to normalize period conversations and promote period dignity. As we keep sharing these experiences, we believe that women and girls will become more comfortable and bold in owning their period stories. Periods are just a normal part of a woman's life, just like growing taller, or your shoe size increasing, or losing or adding weight. Period stories are as different as our faces. And today we're going to be talking about a very different period stories. With us is Aderonke Adelaja. She's a health worker, advocate, and businesswoman. It's my pleasure to welcome her to the show. Welcome here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. You've done fantastic work in the past years in menstrual hygiene, and we celebrate you. We really celebrate your work with adolescents. Talk to us about what you've done with young girls in Lagos State.
Wow, thank you very much for having me once again. I work in space of adolescents with Lagos State government, but I also take it upon myself to advocate for adolescents and youths in schools, to let them know what the period is all about, what they can do right from the school to keep their period, to keep their life at shape. So far so good. I've been able to organize a sensitization for the girls in Ekpe local government, where we have like 200 girls, sensitizing them in menstrual hygiene, sharing menstrual materials for them. Though it may not be enough, but it's just an incentive or way to make them know that this is what you can use, this is how to use them. So, and subsequently, we've been going to schools, going to churches, and to sensitize the girls, especially the mothers too.
I like that you're going, your work is centered in Ekpe. Because it looks like in Lagos State, we focus on the main city, island, Lagos Island, mainland. We forget Badagry, Ekpe, Ikorodu. So I'm quite happy that you're in Ekpe and you're doing some work there. You've mentioned that and the mothers too. So let me take you up on that. So what do you tell the mothers?
We use the avenue of the school PTA meeting, the Parent Teachers Forum, to get in touch with the parents, to sensitize them about the children. You know, when I was growing up, I realized that mothers don't really take cognizance of when the period really starts with their children. Because I am a living witness to, and that's what I've been using as my advocacy to parents, that we need to grow up with them when they are growing up during the process, and know exactly how are they coping with the process during their periods. So during the PTA meeting, we use that as a venue to talk to parents, both the female parent and the male. You know, some men do come for PTA meetings sometimes, so to tell them what they need to do and how to go along with their children during this phase of their life.
I know one thing I picked from what you said now is that from my personal experience. So there's a story behind what you're doing, right? Are you willing to share that with us?
There's a story behind what I do, because that's give me strength, and it's also give me a kind of way of sharing my story. So I now see this as a tax on myself, that I have this, then why can't I go on to help others not to be in this kind of situation, or to tell people what they need to do, because government can't do everything.
No,
Government can't do everything. So we too has to put some challenges on ourselves to help the community, to help the society. So growing up, this is what I experienced.
So what was it you experienced?
What
I can't wait to hear your story.
What I experienced while growing up was when I really started my period. I started it on, I just saw it with my friends. Growing up years, then we start talking. I saw this thing. Oh, have you seen your own? Said, me too. Oh. Then how did you do it? Because while growing up, I grew up with my sister then. And growing up then, you know, those days was when you grew up with a sister that was really not accommodating, not bringing you closer. It's now that we are trying to advocate that mothers should bring their children closer to them, so that you can know what they are going through. So back then was like,
so you didn't have, your mother didn't socialize you into,
I don't even have any opportunity to,
and you didn't have any sister
to have any education about this period we are talking about.
So what was the consequence on you?
So the consequences on me now is that while growing up, doing it the way I know, doing it the way I feel. What
were you using?
Tissue
paper.
Then it was not the era of using pad. Sometimes we use tissue. Sometimes we even use cloths.
That was in the mid 80s, early 90s.
That was early 90s.
Yeah.
So we use cloths sometimes. You washed, you dry, you use again. And I went to a public schools. So public schools then when I was saying then, you go to the toilet, you see lots of feces on the ground. So you have to still use it. You have to still use it. So you don't really know that these are consequences.
Right.
These are challenges.
So what did it do to you?
So during growing up, it was a normal thing. Even to the extent that you feel that you're having itches, you just see it as a normal thing that, I'm having itches. So they will tell you, go and use black soap and wash.
Oh, goodness.
So black soap and wash. So you feel the pepperish part of it. Then sometimes the itching may subside. Then you think that that's all. So you move on. So growing up to...
So you had an infection that affected you forever?
Yes. Growing up during then, you know, when the menstrual hygiene is not properly maintained, don't even know all these things the signs you're seeing was the signs of infection. So growing up with that, getting to a stage of marriage, getting to the marriage stage, waiting for years, then you start knowing there is problem. That's when you now know that there is a problem from one hospital to the other. What's the problem? PID.
PID.
What's PID? Why? What causes this and that? So that's how everything starts. Not knowing that the deed has already been done. So from PID, you start treating for what has already started for years that you don't even know. So after the treatment, trying to conceive, things keep going ups and down. So
then at what point did you find out that the infection you had back in secondary school has become something that has that
That's exactly
the
point that, you know, when you start going to hospital, you start asking questions.
And doing tests.
You start asking questions and doing tests to the extent that you now realize that the infection has gone bad to the extent of having tube blockage. And why? What's the cause? I'm not someone that live a reckless life during days then. So the doctor will start asking you questions back to how you were growing up. How did you maintain your menstrual hygiene? To the extent that asking you how did you use your life, maybe in schools when you were wayward and this and that. And when that one is out of it, then they go back to your growing up through your menstrual cycle. How do you maintain them? So that's when I now see that this thing is a real problem on so many people's sides. And also working in Lagos State in Ministry of Health makes us to see so many scenarios, because we go to facilities. We work in adolescent space, we see people, you see them tell you so many stories. And I now sit back and say, if this is actually a big problem, then we need to do something about it.
I'm trying to get over your story, because I'm imagining how not maintaining proper hygiene as an adolescent has now come back in later years to cause infertility, because I know that's what you're trying to color it. You're trying to not be direct, but you're saying that lack of menstrual hygiene back in your secondary school days, when you started menstruating, because you didn't have anybody to tell you what to do, has now affected you such that after marriage you spent years without conception. And different tests have now shown that this was because of an infection back then. Let's take a break. We'll be back. You're watching My Period Stories, and we've been talking about menstrual hygiene, and we've been taking this particularly significant period story that a lot of women haven't, really paid attention to. I have Aderonke Adelaja with me in the studio. We've been talking about how inadequate menstrual hygiene, or the very lack of it, has had severe consequences on her later in life. Let me come back to you, Aderonke. I mean, we had to go on a break because I was trying to deal with your story. I just couldn't deal, immediately like that. But this is a culturally conservative Africa and Nigeria. Do you not feel a bit of hesitancy to share your story, knowing that everybody is watching you?
No. We are trying. That's why I said I'm trying to take it on myself, because it had to start with someone. And if you are not sharing your story, then what did you want them to take you for? Maybe they will just be thinking you are reading it from a book and saying it out. But I think when we are saying it the real time, this is what is happening, I think mothers will start taking it as a big deal.
So do you tell your story to mothers now?
I tell my stories
to... You tell them that,
yes,
because your mom didn't say this to you?
I tell them the story if I have any avenue of talking to both the mothers and adolescents and the young ones. Because, sometimes negligence keeps us on the spot. And when you don't really tell them your story, they won't take you serious, or they won't take the situation as serious.
Yeah.
So if I have any avenue, I don't think these days everything should be done openly these days. I don't think there is any. When you can have a situation of having a surrogacy, having an IVF openly, so why don't you say your story openly, so that others that are coming won't also be a victim? Because it's not what they really want for themselves. It's ignorance of not knowing how and way of doing it. If I had known then, I would take cognizance, even if it takes me to be changing it every minute. I think I will do it then.
Madam Aderonke, you're a very courageous woman. I celebrate you, because you've crossed the border, you've crossed the margin where you're self-conscious and aware, too aware of the consequences of telling this particular story. Because, it's like coming to tell people, look, I'm having issues with infertility. I cannot conceive because way back when I was younger, I didn't take menstrual hygiene seriously, and now I can't have a child. It takes courage to say that on African, continental TV, as it were. So, but I want to know from you what the reactions of the girls are when you tell them your story.
Their reaction is always a positive one, because most of them don't even know that this thing has a bad effect like something like this. So they are always happy to hear it, and they are trying. But what I'm still battling with right now is the situation of our country. How can they go about it? Even if they are going about it in the hygiene part of it, what about the materials? Because we live in a society that we have so many less privileges that can't even afford a menstrual
pad, yeah.
materials like sanitary pad.
Yeah.
And we are advocating for them to put up a menstrual hygiene, do this, change it every
4 hours. But then what are they going to be changing?
Every 4 hours.
Yes.
Now let's calculate how many pads they will be using for a one cycle.
Yes.
So using for a cycle, changing for 4 hours is kind of challenges we are having now. We are advocating, fine. How can we
but we
meet
need supplies.
How can we meet their needs? How can we tell them? How can we assist them? So I think that's the bottleneck I'm having right now.
So how do you source for the pads that you give them?
The last program I did, when I said I did it in Ekpe for 200 girls,
yes,
I have the support of a particular NGO that
so
supply us the menstrual sanitary pads, so we gave them. But subsequently, we've been trying to reach out to some partners, some NGOs to assist, as in, if we are going out to talk to them, we should tell them that this is what you need. This is how to use it. So that's our constraint for now.
Right. What about the mothers? Have you had any case with a particular mother who was shocked at your story? Or tell me, have you had any encounter with the mother?
The mothers, when I shared my stories to mothers, mothers, they will feel so bad.
Like I really felt
they'll feel
bad.
So bad that these things can really go bad like this, and you always look radiant, you don't even allow the situation to weigh you down. You move on, you do this, you do that. Weighing me down doesn't solve the problem. The only thing that can solve the problem is for me to look for the solution to the problem. And weighing me down won't give me the solution.
So you decided,
and I also need to take these children, the growing up along, that this road, don't ply this. This is the road to ply. So for you not to be in this road, there is a solution to everything. It's not as if it's a hopeless situation. But I'm just taking it up now for us not to have a lot of cases like this.
I salute you and I celebrate your courage. But I'm curious, if you're married, is your husband not worried?
My husband, we are in it together.
Oh,
because
wow.
Before I married, I detected some. And before going into the marriage, I sit him down. This is my situation. Can you go this way with me? It's not as if it's a hopeless situation when there is go
options,
to the yes, when there is options. But that is one thing I also grew up with, is to say the fact. Doesn't matter wherever it lands, but say the fact at the beginning, so that you can know how to slide the road. Mister, this is what is happening. Can you? Then, to God be the glory today, I'm a very happily married woman. because my husband is in support of everything that I do. Even this program is also in support for me coming.
Thank you, Mr. Adelaja.
Actually, Adelaja is my maiden name.
Oh, okay.
My
Husband's
marital
name.
name is Akpeno. So
Mr. Akpeno, see, salute to you. Thank
so
you.
he's always a supporting striker on my back. If sometimes you feel like breaking down, you say, no, that's not what you signed for. You better dust your shoe and move again. This morning it was even on my case. You are going early. Oh yeah, wake up early. Oh yeah, book this. Oh yeah, book. So it was a supportive things for me to do. So I don't really feel bad doing this.
I'm curious. I'd like to know, did you chance on any story, incredible story from one of the girls? Because I know our girls are quite dramatic and very imaginative with the things they do with their menses. Did you come across any story?
Yes, I did, because I normally go back to, especially my school, my alma mater, to see
your
principal.
alma mater.
Yes, I normally visit the school on time to see the principal and check on the children, because I go to a girls' schools, so that also motivates me to check on them, being a girl child. So there is this particular day I went to the principal to talk about the girls. So there is this scenario that she now shared to me, that based on these children, that she saw a scenario when a girl came to her office. She's having this bad odor, and they were now wondering what really happened. Why are you having a bad odor? What happened? So she now, a way of touching her at the back,
her body,
yes, her body,
bum.
that what happened to you? You don't used to take care of yourself. What is this? So they now feel that she's not wearing only tight and the skirt, that what she's putting on is much. They can feel it. That what
How do you mean is much?
What she's wearing as the undies, that is not only the normal
pants, the
underwear. Underwear. So they now called her that what happened? What are you wearing? What are you thinking? So the principal is also a very nice person, and she's very close to the children. So she now brought her into the office. That she was like, let me see what you are wearing. Have you offended the teacher that they want to beat you? So you now went to wear a lot of clothes under, so that you can't be hot. Unfortunately, the principal now get to know that she's on her period, because she didn't have materials to use for the period. So she's wearing the pants, she's wearing boxers, she's wearing tights. So she put on so many,
all at once.
Yes, she put on so many clothes under, so to absorb the
menstrual blood.
Yes, to absorb the menstrual blood. So all for her to just get home and wash and dry. So the principal was so pained. So they have to take her to the bedroom. They asked the teacher to take. That's what she told me, that it's just not quite long that this happened. That they have to take her to the bedroom. They have to ask her to remove everything and have a bath. They have to get her a menstrual pad for that day to wear. So the lady stayed in her office till all the wears dry. So they find it difficult to even get access to these menstrual pads.
So the lack of menstrual pads, the unavailability of menstrual pad, was the reason why she piled on different
Yes, because
clothing.
that's what she think she can use at that time. That's what she thinks she can use at that time, because she didn't have access. If she has access to the menstrual pad, I know that she will use it.
Which is why we've been asking that there be pad banks in schools, so that girls who don't have at home can at least, lean on the school supplies.
That's the bottleneck. Who is going to bank the pad in the school?
Who is going to bank the pad in the
school?
On that note, thank you very much. Awesome. I thank you again. But one more question before I let you go is, Most times when we talk about menstrual hygiene and menstrual issues, we have young people and men also who tell us, what is it? Our grandmothers too had periods. What is it? You people are making a mole out of, a mountain out of a molehill. This, that. What's your reaction to that quickly before we
my
start
reaction
going?
on that is, those days there are so many things that were done in those days ignorantly, and it's not as if those grandmothers don't have issues as well. They have issues, but they don't really have now if we have issues, we know where and how and what causes that issue. But then they will start saying, iya alagbaja is doing me, baba alagbaja is doing me.
This
When
is,
you have
remote control,
Yes.
because this is going to all of Africa. There are probably people who are saying, what does she mean by they're doing me?
I mean, what I really mean by that is that they easily turn it to being a
spiritual
witchcraft.
thing. Okay,
They easily
witchcraft,
turn it to being spiritual when you are having issues, because there is no way that this thing has not been affecting them back then, but they don't take cognizance of it, and they don't. If there is no way to trace it down to where we are now. But now there are a lot of technology, there are a lot of awareness to make you know that this is the effect of this.
Yes, and
This
it's
is
not
the
necessarily
consequence
witchcraft.
of this, and
yes.
it don't really need to be beaten about the bush. Just face it the way it is. So then that they are using all sort of things for their menstrual hygiene then doesn't really mean that they don't have issues. They do have. But now it's just that we have records. There are data that are speaking for all those things that we are saying now.
Thank you very much, Aderonke. Adelaja has been our guest on My Period Stories. What a period story to share. What a period story to listen to. We share period stories to destigmatize periods to such an extent that we can laugh, teach, share, and celebrate our stories and ourselves as menstruators, right? In the words of Maya Angelou, there is no greater agony than bearing an untold story inside you. I must thank you again for coming on the show. I hope that this has strengthened someone out there watching us. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me.
All right, I'm Funke Treasure. We'll be back next week.